whenever the clients are coming in, they're coming in with a blank mind. They don't know really like what the CRO is, what kind of call to action.
They got this client, let's say a big, huge e-commerce client, and they're just starting out. They didn't know what to do. Start out with something small.
Leads, the one you're getting in these days, is basically from the marketplaces, from your well-reputed profile.
So web design mainly from the gigs, SEO mainly from our own brand. So you can see it
And
like
so
that.
maybe it's worth, yes, it's worth like we need to go and change the domain and test it out in that way.
As SEO, hit me from a different angle. Like, you have the algorithms, you have the technical side of things. Some clients do understand that, but obviously some they really love their domains and all that and couldn't let go of that. So
Welcome to the Agency Growth Lab show, and today we are thrilled to have Jackie Owens, the founder of Tech Check Agency, joining us. Jackie is a passionate SEO expert and WordPress developer who has built a successful SEO agency specializing in website development and SEO. We're excited to tap into Jackie's wealth of knowledge and experience in growing a successful agency. So, without further ado, let's welcome Jackie Owens to the Agency Growth Lab show. Welcome to the show, Jackie. It's great to have you here, ready to dive into some ninja stuff with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Owen. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, living my dreams. So, Jackie, before the call, I was trying to actually catch up with you to understand what you do and how your studies and everything was. So, pretty inspiring story, I would say. And so, yeah, before we get more into the discussion, just tell me in 1 minute or less, like, how do you go about build the websites and rank them on the page one of Google for your clients? Tell me about it.
Yeah, sure. So in a nutshell, to basically get a website to page one of Google, we usually start with, strong on page and topical relevance of the website. It doesn't have to go too crazy, just make sure, there is some topical relevance there, the services, the product categories, let's say with e-commerce. And then after that, we build strong quality backlinks, right? Backlinks from website with traffic, more important, but also use, some PBN. Even without traffic, they still work, but you have to know how to use them properly. And then alongside with that, also a strong branding from the client side. That's usually what I always advise clients to do. Branding and also user experience of the website as a whole. User engagement is very important. So these are the three main pillars of what I usually do to rank websites. So strong on-page topical relevance, high quality, strong backlinks, and good user engagement.
Oh yeah, super. I mean, like, so whenever some client is coming to you, I mean, like, let's say you go and check it out their website, do a quick audit, and you guys feel like, hey, you guys need a kind of a revamp on your website. So that's where that is a time when you actually not just go and do the website design, which most of the website design companies they do. You guys actually do and polish their on-page factors as well to make sure
Yes.
like the site do get designed with the good CRO factors and they do get ranked with the good on-page stuff in that too. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes. I mean, if the client comes, if they already have a website, so obviously first we have to you do the audit,
Yep.
identify the problems, and then once we know the problems, then we look for potential strategies and solutions to essentially get their website up in the ranking. Because a lot of the clients, they usually have had a SEO guide before, so they had some issues here and there. Maybe the guy, let's say for example, over optimized some pages or keywords, for instance. So we needed to fix those first, and then once we got everything fixed, then it's the time of actually ranking, basically developing it to the next level. Actually.
No, it's a very bitter truth of the industry, what I've seen. I mean, like the some of the agencies they do come and get burned out with the previous SEO companies. I mean, like I recently came across one of audit. I'll tell you, that was very funny. And then I checked it out. That guy said like I've spent like 6 months with one of a renowned company, and then when I was looking at, I looked like, oh, the social bookmarking kind of links he has done, or
Yeah.
the basic meta titles or meta descriptions or something that kind of things hasn't been done either. So yeah, I can understand the pain which when the guys are coming to you and yeah. the revamp something is really required at
Yes.
few occasions.
I also would like to add a bit to that as well. Is there will be some clients where it's actually like the damage is too much that it can be even reversed. So before I even take on that, obviously, and any client, we obviously I need to go through a little bit of the website as well, and then decide, if let's say I couldn't work on the website, or if it's like too far of the things to be fixed, then I'll just let them know. Maybe sometimes we need to change the domain, for example, or completely change the website as a whole. I mean, some clients do understand that, but obviously some they really love their domains and all that and couldn't let go of that. So I mean, unfortunately, it happens. Like if let's say you see like let's say for example the recent HCUs, right? A lot of website got hit, even up to a year now, a lot haven't recovered yet. So
Yes.
at one point, change the domain, change the website as a whole is also probably the best way, easier way to rather than fix it.
That's true. That's true. I mean, like I've come across so many sites after this SU when we were doing the audits. In fact, a couple of our clients, they got tanked and we couldn't really recover them properly. We tried
Yeah.
so many things, literally so many things. I spoke to so many SEO ninjas as well, and then what we figured out, like whatever the rankings and everything was before the update, even after changing all the content, even after making all the necessary tweaks, disable the links or prepare the new links. I mean, like still the thing hasn't been moved up. So I thought like maybe it's something that Google has picked up at the domain level. And so maybe it's worth, yes, it's worth like we need to go and change the domain and test it out in that way as well.
Yeah.
So now I completely agree to that. All right, let's go a little deep into your journey as well. So can you tell us a bit about your journey, like dreaming of the Google, working in the Google, and then founding out your own tech Jackie. I mean, like that was a big thing because I can understand like everyone is having kind of aspiration to actually work with the big organizations. At one point, you think of that, hey, let's go and open up my own agency rather than working for someone. So how did your journey go like that?
Yeah, actually, so like ever since I was a small child, I already kind of had this passion for technologies and computers and all that. So I always like coding when I was in high school. I also joined I took the computer science course there in the school, right? Like in India, basically we had like two choices of stream, right? Like when we want to go to commerce or you want to go to like computer science and all that.
Right.
So with that, I also along with the my love for technologies and computers, I also kind of dreamed of working at Google at some point. But obviously now I'm working against Google, so it's kind of ironic there. But then after I joined college, my passion changed a little bit. Like I started wondering, like, what if I could kind of like work on myself? That's where I actually discovered about web development there. Like
Yep.
since I come from engineering background, the engineer they teach a lot of various stuff, right? And web development isn't really like a mainstream there. They teach like like all the coding and bigger stuff, like even the database and all that. It's not like typical web design stuff there. So one of the seniors introduced me to like the proper web development there, and then I developed a passion for web development early on back then. And I think partly because web development is something which it's not like other type of kind of like engineer stuff where you need to code and then you basically work mostly on the back end. But with that web dev, you work on the back end and you see the result on the front end right away. So it's like instant results there. And that essentially really, I think, inspired me at some point to basically like work on this. So after I complete my college, I came back home and then I was kind of having a lot of free time with myself. Then I thought maybe I could maybe work, I guess, make some quick income on the side. So
Yep.
that's where I did a little bit of search on Google and found out about Fiverr.
Yep.
So I didn't even know about Fiverr freelancing back there.
Yep.
Then I joined Fiverr. I initially offered, like complete web development service there with, a couple thousand of dollars and per charge. Obviously, initially I couldn't sell any to anyone because I didn't understand the market back then. then I started kind of researching around Fiverr and saw that a lot of these gigs are mostly, a couple $100s.
Yep.
Then I thought like, how are they able to do it, right? With that kind of like charge. So I did a little bit of research. Then I found out about WordPress. Like I didn't even know about WordPress because WordPress is not something we learn as an engineer or something, right? Like engineer, we learn like complete hard code and stuff. So I didn't even know about WordPress. So I dig a little bit about WordPress. I studied about it. Then I thought maybe I could change the way I productize myself instead of offering something big. Maybe WordPress is a solution because since the most of the like clients on Fiverr and all, they're pretty like small mom and pop shop, right? They're not really looking for some fancy stuff, behind the scene. They're just looking for a website.
Yep.
So I started offering WordPress. Then I started making some sales, but it's nothing crazy or anything. It was just like a side income, side hustle for me while I was sitting at home. So then at some point, the Fiverr didn't really like make a lot of sales for me. So I quit Fiverr, and then I found out there's another freelancing platform in my country in Thailand. And fortunately, there's only one there, so there's a lot of competition. So I joined there as a as a web design, now completely only focusing on WordPress. And since not a lot of people actually provide WordPress there, like it's a complete again same problem that I had. So I was able to sell at a low cost, right, at an affordable cost, and quickly, rank myself up and became one of the top sellers on the platform there. And to connect it to SEO, right around when I worked on freelance on Fiverr, there was a client who asked me about whether I do SEO or not. Even back then I didn't know about SEO, so I did a little bit of research. And then at some point, I started learning a little bit about on the side while also providing web design on
Yep.
my new freelancing platform. So SEO started as a side kind of like a project for me to learn and to understand all that. And then I remember I took my first course, but I bought it from Udemy. It was by one of the top digital marketing sellers there. I don't remember now the name. So it's a complete digital marketing course in which SEO was one of it, right? So everything was good, but I think SEO really stood out for me. The reason is because other type of digital marketing, they are more or less like traditional marketing, right? Like there's a word marketing in it, which isn't really what I'm really passionate about. Like I explained, I love all the technical and computer and coding stuff. Whereas SEO, hit me from a different angle. Like, you have the algorithms, you have the technical side of things. And then that is also one of the reasons why SEO is the first thing which I really took time to learn and to practice and all that. And ever since I started doing it, ever since I started kind of like, learn more about it, I just completely fell in love with it. It became my passion over time. I think also another reason is because so essentially like while coming back to my story working as a freelancer on Thailand, right, in a platform, I also opened up my own website, Jacky, to with the purpose of actually first practice my SEO there after I took the course.
Yep.
So if you look at my website, you might be able to find some of my older blog posts in around 2019, 2020, where you could see it was like a complete basic type of SEO optimized content. Those are some of my practice articles. So I
Oh, yeah.
use my website as a way to test out SEOs and all that. And up to some point, it started ranking, and that completely hit me with the dopamine and the satisfaction of actually get seeing some of my keywords start ranking, and that gave me a little bit more passion into it. Then then as time progressed, I actually uh, thought maybe to start essentially my own as an agency at some point,
Yep.
while I also work on that freelancing platform. Even until today, I'm still offering web design service there on that platform. But on the side, I also use my own kind of brand, Tech Jacky website, as a way to get additional clients to for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
So majority of your clients are like a local businesses based in Thailand in the Thai language, or is it like you work with a global level with the with even the clients from US or the different areas as well?
Yeah, so for web design, mostly it's local client. I do have some international clients as well, but very little because those. So essentially, I have two main ways of attracting clients. One is from that freelancing platform where I get majority of my web design clients from. Second part is from my own website, Tech Jackie, my own brand. So
Yep.
from my own brand, that's where I get most of my SEO clients from.
Yep.
And since my brand spread wide across the globe, so that's where I get a lot of my international clients from. But I also do get a bit of web design on the side as well from my own brand.
As I understand, like you said, like majority of leads, the one you're getting in these days is basically from the marketplaces, from your well-reputed profile, and the second one is by the referral clients as well.
Yes, from the profile of the gig on my freelancing as a web design gig, but for SEO, I focus on mainly getting it through my brand. So I currently I'm offering only two main services, that is web design and SEO. I do start offering Google Ads on the side as well for clients who want it, but I'm not really like a professional or anything. But I do get some good results with that as well. So web design mainly from the gigs, SEO mainly from my own brand. So you can see it like that.
Now that actually excites me to actually the next question I really want to know is, let's say there is someone who's just starting out. I mean, like who just completed some of the website development kind of a courses. They want to actually set out their own agency or to get more some leads. What is the best kind of advice you can give it to them? How they want to get started?
I think like reflecting on myself, I think the biggest like it took me a couple of years to really start my own stuff.
Yep,
And the main reason was because of confidence. I didn't have a confidence to charge people when I didn't know fully that I can deliver the results.
yep,
And because and this again, I think it came from my habit when I was in school. Like I always try to, like I'm always a competitive student. I always strive hard to get, to be the top of the class, right? So that's how I treat every of my project is unless they get the results, I'm not gonna feel satisfied within myself. Even if they don't pay me, I still would want to get the results for them. And that's why I see myself. I'm not sure about others. Maybe others think more about money than the results. I'm not sure, but for me, it's the results first, then the money afterward. So for me to give anyone the kind of like the recommendation here is first, try to get results for yourself. Even if let's say trying to rank your own website, or let's say if you're offering web design, try to create a couple of websites yourself so you have a little bit of confidence in yourself and you know that you can get the result. And for SEO, I know it might be a little bit difficult, but maybe as for me myself, I started working initially even for free as a part of like I charge a little bit extra for my web design, right? And then I use a little bit of extra money to invest in SEO for the clients. But obviously, don't go like too big on a project. Like I had a lot of people who come to me asking me these questions, and they got this client, let's say a big, huge e-commerce client, and they're just starting out. They didn't know what to do. Start out with something small, maybe a local website, right? Local SEO is very easy. Find somewhere, find a client who's not in a competitive place, and get the results there. Once you start getting that first, second, third result, even at a lower or no rate charge at all, you build that confidence. And better than that is your case studies, where you
yep.
can use that and resell to another client. Now you can start charging a little bit higher and higher, and then develop from there. And besides that, also some people also ask me like, if I don't have money, how do I get start, right? I think that's also depends on like when I started, I lived at my parents' place, so I didn't have to worry much about money or anything. So when you start out, maybe getting a job, a permanent job where you can make a little bit of income to support yourself is also a better idea. To think of it realistically, right? Like if you don't have money, it's gonna be very difficult to start. So you have to think like I know you might want to be your own boss one day, but before you get there, make sure you make some income first. to
Yeah.
be able to support yourself, and then start a little bit start small and slowly develop from there.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's very true about it because I even take the same thing onto myself. I mean, like I started off back in 2012. I started as an affiliate marketer, and then because at that time I remember like the Amazon was everywhere, like everyone was saying like go create the niche website. So I was working as an engineer, and then I started off a couple of websites. It really worked so well. I mean, like was the algorithm was not that crazy at that time, especially. So, and then slowly, I started investing those funds back into my own agency, and yeah. So today we are doing good in that way. But yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. Like we need to actually not get too much emotional about the things at the very start.
Yes.
Need to get practical as well. Like it is important to have a steady flow of income coming in so that we can invest that money back into the business and can grow it fast. Otherwise, we're gonna run it away very quickly, and
Yes.
we're gonna be out of the show then. Yeah. So coming again back to the that on page and website development, what kind of like what do we call it as the CRO factors you guys normally add it in the website so as to make sure like the once the website do get ranked that can get the clients a good amount of leads and the audience as well, because see whenever the clients are coming in, they're coming in with a blank mind. They don't know really like what the CRO is, what kind of call to actions they really needed. Is there something you guys go up beyond further and guide them in that way as well in your agency?
Yes, I mean CRO is a part of essentially what I try to incorporate into website. So if let's say they're coming to me to build a new website for them, so some of the basic area I definitely need to keep in mind will be like, making sure it has like a simple structure. Like some web, like there are two type of web design clients. One, those that are just completely care about aesthetic of the website, the looks of the website. Those clients, I don't try to do a lot of things for them. Like they just want design, they just want beauty, just give them that. But there will be some clients who want, functional. The website needs to be functional and needs to essentially be able to market at some point, right? So for that, I make sure that the design is simple enough, not too complicated. We don't put a lot of animations or anything, even though it looks good for those clients, it doesn't do well in conversions. Everything should be simple, have a big call to action button across the pages. The header navigation should be able to stick and then scroll as we scroll down the page. What else? So we have like a big headings. It can be H1 if you're doing for SEO, right? Then H1 should have the keywords in there if you're preparing for SEO, but it also should communicate a strong message of the brand or what they offer as well.
Yep.
Have a contact form always at the bottom, because I always see people like to fill out once they scroll back right to the bottom. The
Yep.
contact form is where you can easily also make it easier for them, instead of like asking them to jump around, find a contact form and all that. So
Yep.
these are some of the basic elements I try to keep initially when work on the web design, right? So essentially make it easy, make it clear, make it essentially it doesn't require client much of an effort to find where to contact or to do that. These are the basic things I always keep when I do this type of website design. This also helps SEO. However, once we start kind of like, let's say if the client decide to go on with SEO, so that is just for web design, right? So once if it's done for them, then it's good. But let's
Yep.
say the client takes it to the next level and say, okay, also want SEO with you. Now, once I start doing SEO for the website, I like to install, software like Hotjar or Microsoft Clarity to
Clarity.
essentially always track what people are doing on the website. CRO is something which, although I'm not an expert, but I try to essentially make the website as friendly as possible and convert as much as possible from user point of view. But the problem here is there's no like one size fits all for every website.
Yep.
That's why every one of the website needs to have this type of software connected to their website, so you can always rewatch what people are doing, what people are clicking, and then
Yep.
make different adjustments and then keep on testing, right? So let's say you found, like, based on, let's say, 20 recordings, you see that people don't click on this button when they scroll down. So what do? You make, first you make a hypothesis why they don't do that. So maybe the button is too small, maybe you need to change the color of the button. So you make those changes and then you test for maybe another week and then rewatch again and then see if it works or not. If it doesn't, think of next hypothesis and then make all the changes. So this
Yep.
is how it goes with the CRO, according to me.
Yep.
So let's say it's like e-commerce, for example. So maybe the checkout form. So you might notice after watching this recording that people don't check out too often. Maybe the checkout form is too complicated. You might need to, reduce the number of fields or something like that. So that's where you need to basically watch these recordings, put yourself as in the customer's shoes and think, okay, if you were customers and you're doing these actions, why are you doing so? Maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of that, and then make small changes. Try to make as single changes, or maybe not more than two changes in a time, so you know that there's no other variables influencing it.
And is this something you guys work just with the WordPress only, or even with Shopify as well?
Currently I only offer WordPress because
Okay.
I learned my lesson from there, like I mentioned. Then I just basically focus on WordPress, and then it's easier for me to productize myself, to scale, and that's where, because to be honest, like, I don't really have team with me. Like, even though I call as an agency, I'm mostly just a freelancer. You can think of it like that. I'm
Yep.
a more like a solopreneur, you can say.
Yep.
So that's why I try to, be more like a T-shaped marketer as much as possible, basically just focusing on one single thing as much as I can. And that's where I think I don't want to go too broad with the platform I work with or something like that.
Just final few questions is, Jackie, like everyone goes through some kind of like a challenges, I would say. I mean, like even with my case, when I was building out my agency, I gone through so many different kind of challenges as well. For you, I mean, like in your growth, have you seen any kind of like a challenges being stopping you? It could be the manpower, it could be the processes, it could be the client communications, or getting on the new leads or something. What kind of challenges have you faced, or actually is also facing, and how do you think like you can make it better, or what kind of focus you can make it in those areas?
Yeah, so I've had a few challenges. So starting off, when I started off, I think the biggest one was finding clients. So that was the first hurdle I had.
Yeah.
Uh, But then I think over time that challenge is overcome by actually putting the effort into building up your own brand, right?
Yep.
As you become more and more well known in the market, as you start kind of like because, like I said, one side of me also, I was getting clients from the freelancing platform. So some of my web design clients also convert into SEO.
Oh
So
yeah.
that helped me, with a couple of initial clients as well. Some of my friends also, I started working for them a little bit. But obviously, those develop over time. Uh, Always in between, obviously, I tried different methods like email marketing, cold email, all that stuff. But then, yeah, I think organic is the best way, although it takes time, but it's pretty much, it's the most stable way. Then after that, the next hurdle is, I think, having like the right SOPs and solutions, especially with SEO, is something where I think like there's really no straightforward way of doing things. Like every website is different.
Yep.
Even if you have like the right SOPs, is you need to be flexible enough with it. Like, you can't always use the same points for every type of website. You need to be able to change your strategies in between. If,
Yep.
let's say, the update comes, what do you do? Maybe you need to change this, change the order here and there. So that also took me a while to figure out, but I think for this to overcome this, it comes through with experience. The more you work, the more you become knowledgeable, the more you know how to essentially approach things. Like if, let's say, this update hits and the ranking drop, so with the trained eyes and with the experience I have, I can say up to certainty that what happens with this website and all that. So that's where I think comes along with experience. Obviously, initially it will be a little bit difficult, but you need to keep on practicing. It's more like mathematics. You have the the formulas, and you know how to work on it, but you need to keep on practicing solving the problems.
Sure.
So and that's one of my next challenge. So next challenge after that is like I think essentially client communications. I think it was a little bit difficult for me. Like I'm quite an introvert guy. I'm not really good at public speaking at all.
Yeah.
Even today, I'm a little bit shaking initially as well. So but I think over time again, like I think one of the things which really helped me with this was when I started YouTube channel.
Yep.
Like you might have seen maybe my YouTube channel as well. Initially, some of my first videos were quite terrible. I didn't really know what to say or anything. But over time, I practiced, with this, and then I think I become I like it becomes easier for me to speak, even though I'm still struggling even till this day. But I think one of the ways is like because I have like so much of passion in the subject, it makes it a little bit easier for me to speak without a lot of thinking,
Yep.
right? So, but again, for a lot of people who are like have a problem with client communications, like you need to practice. Maybe practice with your friends and family a little bit, or maybe practice with yourself and record a video and then review as a feedback and see how you perform there and keep on developing with that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
When you say like a YouTube channel or something, I mean like you trying to cover most of the SEO and the website design stuff of there. Do you think like have you ever tried to notice something like are you getting a lot of leads or something like that as well?
My YouTube channel only focuses on SEO, so like there's really nothing about web design.
Okay.
In terms of leads, I do get some, like not often, but I do get some. Yeah, but I think it helps in terms of like branding,
Branding.
and also I love like sharing knowledge. Is
Oh yeah.
also a passion I developed along the way. That's also why I have like so I offer like SEO service, but I also have SEO coaching on my website because I love sharing the knowledge with people. I think it's what I don't know when it developed there, but so that's where I essentially that's why the reason why I started my YouTube in the first place. Not really to get leads or anything, but to build a brand, one thing,
And
and to share knowledge.
showcase yourself as a expert into the field because that's something eventually people see as well. All
Yeah.
right. So, and just a very final question for the day is like, like the tech is keep on changing day by day. And how do you go about yourself and keep yourself updated all the time, especially at this time when the Google is keep updating their algorithm as well. So how do you go about it?
Yeah, so I re for me, I don't really like believe a lot what a lot of people say. So I always try to hear a lot of their opinions. So I'm on various Facebook groups, although I'm not quite, I don't do a lot of posting, but I like watch what people say and activities going
I
on there. So that's where usually get my opinions from. So that's where one thing. YouTube is also another way I like to, see some of the experts talk about SEO and all these changing stuff. Twitter is also somewhere I start becoming a little bit more active often now, although I never really focus on Twitter. But yeah, so I listen to all of these, but then I try to test them out. Like I don't really believe them until I test them and see the result. So I have a lot of, I conduct a lot of SEO tests myself, whether it's single variable or multi-variable. I have a little bit of test website with me where I make different changes and try to see what happens. And then also based on like a little bit of my understanding of how the algorithms work, since I come from engineering background, also makes me easier for me to understand and to make different hypotheses and test different things. So that's essentially how I try to keep up with the changing trend. Is I listen to the opinions that people have, and test them out, whether it's single variable, multi-variable, or even sometimes I also do them on clients' website
Good.
to see if it works, because in the field, yeah, it is different, right? So that's where I try to see, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then
Very true. I mean, like we just need to keep on testing all the time, and I guess that's something what makes us different from a normal, normal people who does not really understand the SEO. That we guys understand the algorithm a little more better about it.
yeah.
No, that's pretty much it. And there was actually so much stuff I can actually ask you. Is so for the people who want to connect with you, want to know more about you, what is the best way for it? Is that your LinkedIn? Is that the YouTube channel? Of course, I reckon. I can put all those all the stuff into the video description as well. But tell me what is the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm quite active on Facebook. Like I use a lot of Messenger, so you can connect me on Facebook. And there's my Facebook page is there. You can send me a message.
Good.
Tech Jacky is the handle. YouTube is also one place. Email is also there. You can visit my website and email to me directly. I also quite responsive to my email. Apart from that, LinkedIn and Twitter, I'm not really active much. So maybe it's not the best place. So I would say email, YouTube, and Facebook. These are the three primary sources.
That's it. I'll definitely put all that stuff into the video description as well for the people they can go and know more about you. But no, thanks a lot, Jackie. I really appreciate the time you have given us today to come through it, sharing all the knowledge with us and the kind of a struggles you have gone through, because it might gonna help someone to make their path easy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I personally think it's a really good way of spreading out the karma as well. That to share out the knowledge and because see the technology is like I said, it's keep on changing day by day, so there is no point of us having into our own ego and saying like, hey, I would not really go and share with anyone. So I think you are doing and making a kind of a difference over there for everyone to share the knowledge, especially the test results, maybe because you have spent maybe hours doing testing or something, some variables or something, it has made a difference. So maybe that kind of things can be helpful for someone. So no,
Yes,
thanks a lot for it. I really appreciate that and salute you for it.
you're
And
welcome. And also, thank you for having me as well.
no, that's great. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you. Thanks for that. Bye bye.
Bye.